All right, Shalom Akim. When I give all glory, praise, and honor to Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Double honors to the apostles that rule well by the Spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. And blessings and honors to you, brother, out there in sincerity and in truth. This is Yaakov making another quick hit. Just want to just get into it real quick, man, just about being patient and really understanding why we're going through what we're going through. You know, there's many reasons, man, but the reason I want to talk about is just for the fact that, you know, the Most High wants to make sure that we understand what we've done and really see that we need him in all things. And that only he's the one that can allow increase. He can allow things. He basically turns, you know, like a butterfly, a worm to a butterfly, man. And he wants us to understand that everything that is ever done, that's ever increased, is off of him. You know, and the time that we're in, that we're going through, to where we're having to see and witness all these things, it's to better us men, and to mold us into something better, so that we can understand in the future, you know, to not ever be like that again. You know, like that's why we're going through hell right now in America, because, you know, yeah, we went off, but you also got to see, man, you know, from the beginning, only Adam knew good. You know, that man that the Most High was dealing with, all he ever knew at the beginning was good. He hadn't seen the other side, basically. And there was a false balance to the Most High. You know, so being in the time that we are in now, seeing, like, man, we understand, like, all right, we don't want this, because this is the way of wickedness. It's the way of a man's thoughts. The society we live in, this is all going after a man's heart, you know? And we gotta understand that without the Most High, man, we don't know our way. We'll go into utter destruction. But with that, hold on real quick, because I wanna get, hold on, let me get the camera, flip better. We gotta understand, man, that we need the Most High in everything, and it takes time. Okay, it takes time to really settle and understand these things. Okay, this is Proverbs chapter 20, verse 24. It says, "Man's goings are of the Lord. How can a man then understand his own way?" You know, this. If you want to know what it's like to go upon an old man's way, this is it. America is the way. You know, this is it, when you want everything right away. You know, you get everything upon, you know, your own understanding, and you know that's not the right way. That's just plain. This is what you you get when you want to act a certain way, man. You want to be a demon. You know, you want to be impatient. You know, that's why the scriptures talk about nothing but a man of impatience. You know, but in this time, to the elect, we're being molded into something better. We're being molded into men who have patience, who possess the fruits of the Spirit. You know, and that's why we got to be patient. This is James chapter 5, verse 7. "Be patient, therefore, brethren, unto the coming of the Lord. Behold, the husbandman waited for the precious fruit of the earth, and have long patience for it, until he received the early and latter rain." Because right now the Most High is growing that fruit. You know, he may have some fruit that are ready. But he does have some that's not ready. Some of that fruit is already very beautiful. It's ready. He wants to take it off that tree, you know, put it in his house, you know. But to the rest, we still gotta wait. That's why, and really, that's to make even the fruit even better, because the longer it waits, the more I don't know if the word ripe is the right word. You know, it's just like with wine. You let it age, and it becomes better with age. You know, and pertaining to, you know, Salakia, I'm still sick. You know, but pertaining to the elect, the more wisdom you put in that man, the more wise he's going to be, the more experienced, the more basically like untouchable he's going to be. Nothing's going to be able to swindle him in that day, or in any day, in the kingdom, in this kingdom. Anything that he comes into, he's not going to be deceived by it, because he was bettered. He was made a better man through everything he went through. You know, so it says, "Be patient, therefore, brethren, unto the coming of the Lord. Behold, the husbandman waited for the precious fruit of the earth, and have long patience for it until he receive the early and latter rain. Be ye also patient, establish your hearts, for the coming of the Lord draweth nigh. Everything we go through, man, is only to get us ready for what's about to come. We're about to see some very cruel times. Very cruel. It's gonna hurt, and you got to make sure that you're gonna be ready for it. We have, like I said in the beginning, we hadn't seen, what evil was or what it felt like to go through it. All we knew was good in the beginning, but you're gonna see the time. You're gonna see it in this time. What really happens when man wants to go off. So we gotta be established in in our faith, so that we're not swayed in that time to give in or to fall out. We must endure to the end. It says, "Be ye also patient, establish your hearts, for the coming of the Lord draweth nigh." And we know it's nigh. We know it's there. We know we're almost out of this place, man. It says, "Grudge not one against another, brethren, lest you be condemned. Behold, the judge standeth before the door." Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua is right there. And to the elect, he's making sure that they're ready. To the rest of them, he's just standing there to be like, all right, you're, like on these court shows, they just give them the sentence and that's it. And how do you want to be met by Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua in that day? You want him to meet you and be like, nah, you weren't ready because you weren't taking this thing diligently. You weren't taking exhortation. You weren't. You were being a scoffer, basically. Do you want him to see you like that, or do you want him to see you as a man who had tried and went through everything and endured and showed that you wanted this thing, you wanted true deliverance? But it says, verse 10 says, "Take my brethren the prophets who have spoken in the name of the Lord, for an example of suffering, affliction, and patience. Behold, we count them happy which endure. Ye have heard of the patience of Job, and have seen the end of the Lord, that the Lord is very pitiful and of tender mercy." The Lord's going to allow the elect to make it. He's gonna help them. Why? Because they did their part. The elect did their part. They like I said, we count them happy which endure. They made it through it all. They were molded into a beautiful fruit, a beautiful man, and they were able to withstand all those fiery darts of the devil. Whether that's from the actual spirits to actual Satan, to Esau, to themselves, but they endured through it all, and they came out better for it, and they saw the balance of the Lord. That's what I'm saying. Like, to all the outcome out there, man, it's close. It's very close, man, and we got to make sure that we can establish our heart, and that I don't know if I made a video about it recently, but I mean, every brother will tell you, the closer and closer we're getting to the end of this, the more it's going to get harder. Only because Satan, the devil, he realizes he has a short time, but also that's just how things are before the actual climax. You see that damn, something bad is about to happen, so everything starts kind of happening real quick at a rate what's really going on, which really causes the climax of the movie, and then that's when everything just comes out. And we're in those real quick moments, but just understand and remember, man, that this is all for a reason. All right, your labor is not in vain, and Lord will to any man out there that's in this truth and that's of a sincere heart, Lord will you make it, because we're almost out of here. That it's like I said right here, verse 9, the judge standeth before the door. So we gotta be patient. All right, don't be overwhelmed. But until then, I want to give all glory, praise, and honor to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. Double honors to the apostles that rule well by the Spirit of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, and honors and blessings to you brothers out there in sincerity and the truth. Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua Barakatah, Kwam Yeshua, Shalom.